take off, set it off, go to Vegas, bet it all, put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all, loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start, Bucs come in 40 hard, win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats, Falcons got bird flu, take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing's for sure, better than the Bucs, they show lane. And every day in Tampa Bay, we say fuck the Saints. We in Tampa Bay, baby. 813 going crazy. Tampa, boy. This Bucs podcast be the greatest. Loose cannons blasting on them haters.
What is up, Bucs Nation? It is Friday, December 6th, 2024, and you're watching the Loose Cannons podcast. I'm your boy, the Sammer Ali, hanging out with my intern, Stank Bastard. No intern Izzy this afternoon. Something about school and class, and I'm like, listen, kid, I get it. You want to go to school, you want to better yourself, but there's nothing that school is going to teach you that I can't teach you better or is more important than what I'm going to teach you here in the life of Loose Cannons and in sports and football, right? He cried a little bit and he apologized, made him do a couple of laps. He'll be back on Monday. Stank, what's up?
How did you think his debut went?
It was pretty bad, actually.
Yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I think we told him as much as soon as the show was over that we expect a whole lot more out of that guy. People in the chat didn't seem to like him either, which is always a good time.
But I think as an intern who's going to chime in, I feel like he needs to be pretty bad. Like, we need to be able to beat this. Like, he's dumb intern, chiming in, saying like, dude, like we should be, most of the time our faces should be like, dude, just shut up.
Imagine he's good, bro. How bad that would make us look. So yeah, I think he's exactly what we need right now until Latte returns from Antarctica. If you guys were wondering, he's on hiatus. You know, now that we're about to have a changing of the guard in the government, he was called into action and into duty, and so we know as much as you guys do.
And for those people who are wondering about the intern only having a voice and not an actual face, we just didn't have him camera ready on Thursday. He's actually going to have a cutaway at some point when he speaks. Yeah. So he's going to be behind the glass. Like I said, he's actually going to be in a closet. So that'll be a little bit different, but it's, he needs to be bad. The thing is, Stank, you being an intern on the show and him being an intern, you guys are consistently on the same level of bad. That's so it feels like it kind of fits.
You making people think that I'm not showing up on time, you know, that my iguanas are part of the problem, which they're not. Okay. You and my wife and my kids all hate my iguanas, but they're not a problem. They're not a problem. You know, they don't really impede me on a day-to-day basis, and you leave them the fuck alone.
I mean, they did impede, actually. You were out celebrating an iguana's birthday. Okay? Like, how ridiculous is that statement? That's as bad as the people who buy Christmas gifts for their pets. Ridiculous.
Listen, we live in the era now where we can get emotional support from pretty much anything. And so for you to, first of all, even question what my relationship is with my iguana is a cancelable offense. And so I won't be taking action right now, but you're right now, bro. You're walking a thin line.
No.
Okay.
No. Pet iguanas, dude. Come on. Like, you look like an iguana guy too, so it kind of fits really nicely. Anyway, listen, the Bucs play the Raiders this Sunday. The Raiders. All right. We're playing Chucky's former team, the team that we stole Chucky from, and then also stole a Super Bowl from in the same season. Okay. That was a phenomenal moment. They're coming to town. They are not a good football team. Okay. They got a really chubby-faced quarterback. They got a tight end who is, in my opinion, the best tight end in the NFL already as a rookie, Brock Bowers. Okay. So let's start with Brock, man. All right. The Bucs, they've struggled against tight end Stank up the middle, that coverage down the seam. Every tight end, even the guys that don't play well in any other game, like the Kyle Pittses of the world, show up against the Bucs, have a great day, a career day most of the time. And here comes, like I said, Brock Bowers, 84 catches. Okay, that leads the league. He's a tight end. He's a rookie, and he's fourth with like 800 something receiving yards on top of that. Nobody has stopped him seemingly in any game this season, but the Raiders, I believe, only have 3 wins. So he's not necessarily carrying his team, but he is getting his no matter what. So how much should the Bucs fans actually be worried about him, or is it just let him get his own and just don't let people score and keep him out of the end zone? Because he hasn't won games for his team.
This franchise historically has just been absolutely run over by tight ends. And there was a time where we decided to stick Rondé Barber on Tony Gonzalez. And he probably did the best job against these elite tight ends. So maybe we come up with something creative, right? Hopefully Tyke can play. Right. Hopefully his knee
practiced today.
Right. Hopefully his knee is healthy enough. And maybe they do something like that where they man up on this guy. Because allowing him to just, lollygag through the middle of our defense, which is our weakness. I don't know if y'all saw Todd Bowles' press conference. He essentially told on himself and told on everybody or this defense, like, we cannot protect the middle. And so that's where we're just getting filleted, and that's where this guy's going to live. So, hearing that he's going to get his and all that shit, he could be a problem. He could be a game wrecker, and they got to figure out a way to at least stave off some of his production.
But Stank, nobody has stopped him all year. And again, he hasn't carried his team to wins. They don't do a lot of other things well enough for him to matter, really, at the end of the day.
Right.
But it's funny you mentioned Tyke Smith. Tyke Smith is a former tematch of Brock Bowers. So he's seen him in practice. He probably could go up against him. It'd be some fun, probably a little fun matchup that they could build there. And if anyone's a dog and willing to go up against another dog like that, it'd probably be Tyke Smith. I don't trust Izzian. No offense to Levante. I don't trust Levante. He's not young and fast enough to deal with this kid. And
there you go again. With
really good linebackers who, no offense to Levante, are better than Levante at this moment in time, have struggled against Brock Bowers. So, I don't know if we don't have a Jordan Whitehead back there who might be okay against him. So I feel like maybe it is Tyke, or maybe it's a group effort. Maybe it's, I hate to say put a spy on him, or maybe just let him get his and just don't let anything else blow up in your face. The wide receivers they have, not very good. The offensive line they have, not very good. This quarterback, nothing special. I think he's a little bit better than Bryce Young, who just had himself a fun day against us. So just don't let the other guys, I think, get in the end zone and just keep Brock as contained as you could possibly contain him, I guess. Like I said, so many other teams haven't stopped him, and it didn't matter. So let him get his. Just control everything else, I guess. But if he's going to kill us on third downs, that's going to be a very hard, long day for us.
Yeah, I think we kind of know what we're going to get from them. They're going to try to play small ball with us, hurt us with the tight end. Usually it's more of a play action approach with a team like this. I think Alexander Madison, if healthy, he's a bit of a threat in the run and the pass game. And we've done a good job with controlling backs this year. And another kind of no-name quarterback. We've been fortunate to face a lot of those guys this season. And so, on paper, we're not talking about an even matchup here, but that doesn't mean shit, because we could just lay an egg like we tried to do last week. And it's just going to come down to performance. I mean, they're pulling out the big guns, Samer. They're pulling out the red uniforms. It's going to be a rematch of the uniform Super Bowl, right? Where we wore red. We were the home team in San Diego, and they wore the white and the silver. So I think that for the first time this year, we'll get to see the best uniform. And maybe that gives us some additional momentum, right? Baker comes out there in red. He's sniffing his fucking smelling salts. Maybe he throws better to guys in red and pewter pants. We'll get to see. If that makes a difference.
It's a very small sample size.
By the way, wasn't there a super chat, and where did it go? Did they ask for their money back? Because I saw it pop up and then it disappeared.
No idea. I was going to say, we have a very small sample size of Baker in red and pewter throwing to players in red and pewter. I want to say they played in that uniform, counting this coming Sunday, 3 times with Baker Mayfield, which is pretty annoying considering that's literally our official home uniform. the official uniform and the official colors of the team are red and pewter, and we wear it, now week 14 before we finally see it. It's fucking ridiculous, man. It's a little ridiculous. But, whatever. Let's not get in all that shit. All right, Snake, moving on. You talked about Baker. We're talking about Baker right now. Bucs need good Baker to show up against a team in the Raiders that are not very good at all. I think they're the worst team in the league in turnover margin. They don't create turnovers. They don't force interceptions. They don't get fumbles. Baker, since week 8, hadn't thrown any interceptions. And then last week he throws 2. Didn't look very good at times. Looked skittish. I think the pass rush got to him. And the Bucs, they just didn't perform well last week. This week, we just need good Baker. And I think if we get good Baker, this game could be very similar to what we saw with the New York Giants game. Maybe similar to what we saw with the Saints game where we dropped 51 points. We could just control a lot of the time of possession. We can keep their team on, their defense on the field. They're not very good at stopping anyone. So we get good Baker. I think that eliminates a lot of the ability or the chances you give the Raiders to even make any moves, make any plays. They're not going to move the ball down the field in long drives. They're just not who they are. They're not a good football team. And the only way you can, make that an even playing field is turnovers. And I think good Baker eliminates turnovers and, not a level playing field in my opinion.
You watched last night's game, right?
The Saints game?
No, last night's game. The game last night.
Yes.
The Packers and the
yes, very good game.
Lions. So after Goff threw that interception, the very next series they went up tempo, like they got him into a rhythm. And I don't feel like Baker was ever in a rhythm. Well, it wasn't in a rhythm until the injury and he came off the bench to the interception. And once the crunch was on, he started to focus and look like the Baker we all know and love. So maybe there's a little of that, right? When this guy doesn't seem to be in rhythm, they need to try to get him into rhythm because he looked uncomfortable from the get-go there.
I think the more veteran, seasoned offensive coordinators / head coaches understand that about their guys. A lot of the younger guys, it seems like they don't understand that. So you see guys like the guy who calls plays for the Vikings, the guy who calls plays for the Packers, obviously Sean McVay. You also got Sean Payton. Those guys have a really good feel of how to get their quarterback back in rhythm. I think Liam is just not maybe in tune with that. I think he's got a lot of other things he's thinking about, so he's probably not in that scenario as much in his own head. But yeah, there is something to say about that because there's too many times where we've seen him like that, Stank, and we haven't figured out a way to calm him down, really. And then the way to calm him down sometimes just have him hand the ball off, call an easy pass, give him a one-read, quick scenario as opposed to something where he's going through and, I don't know, you leave too much up to that chance. And I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield's not a capable quarterback. He's a professional. At some point, you got to let him be a pro. I get it. But you also got to let a guy ease into the game if you know that he's going to be hyped and animated and extra excited about certain moments. We saw it in the playoff game last year in Detroit. So, yeah. But, yeah, I think if Baker comes out, I think if Liam comes out and has it set up in a way for Baker to succeed early, I think we get really good Baker and just, like I said, keep the ball out of the other team's hands, which they are not very good at forcing turnovers. They're like minus 16, man. That's crazy in week 14 to be minus 16 turnover margin. But if we keep the ball
they
in
have
hands,
5 interceptions. I feel like this needs to be a get-right game for our passing game a little bit, too. Yes, we have to lean on the run. It's our bread and butter, and that's where the talent is, right now. Mike's still hobbled, but this could be a game where we get right a little bit. And that's some of it, right? Baker's back there handing the ball off quite a bit. You're not getting a rhythm in the passing game. You're not asking him to win with his arm. But I think we're going to need to be able to have both. And right now, I question whether or not we can be consistent in the passing game. And that's something for Liam to figure out, whether it's still utilizing the underneath game and utilizing Cade Otton and utilizing the backside of the backfield. Somebody else has to step up. Sterling Shepard, I guess, is our 2 receiver. But the guys behind them, we talked about a lot of this earlier in the week. They've got to make their presence known, man. There's got to be some confidence built and some chemistry built and some production out there on the field. And maybe this is the game where we have the opportunity to do that. I mean, winning is the only thing I want to see out of this game, but it would be nice if we're able to kind of get back in the groove throwing the ball.
Jalen is actually the number 2 wide receiver if you look at how they set up their starting lineup. So he's actually the guy that technically starts opposite of Mike Evans. And then Sterling Shepard, I guess, fills in, plays the slot. Mike Evans plays a lot of the slot. A lot of those passes were going to Chris Godwin, now going to Cade Otton. But yeah, I'd like to see Liam do some different things, man. I don't think we throw the ball enough times to Rashad White by design. I don't think we throw the ball to Bucky enough times by design. It seems to be it's a dump off and kind of a last resort or a third or fourth option. I'd like to see us lean on those guys in the passing game like on purpose. Like put Rashad in there with Bucky. Send Bucky out in motion or send Rashad out in motion. Have him be the guy that catches the screen. He's so effective after the catch. Utilize that. Like, use a weapon that you have on the field and then sprinkle him into the run game. Use Bucky how they're using Bucky currently. I have no problem with any of that. I still think they leave a lot of meat on the bone with both of these guys, especially Rashad, because we don't throw the ball to him enough. And he's so good in pass pro, so he comes in handy when you have him in the game, whether he's, taking, the play action and then stepping up and protecting Baker or, again, becoming a passing option. We should lean on that a little bit more. And I'm with you, man. I understand what you're saying about not getting Baker in a rhythm when you hand the ball off, but I think you still got to just lean on the run game. I don't think we run the ball enough when we should at times. We have a good run blocking offensive line all of a sudden, Stank. Let's take it to these guys. Maxx Crosby doesn't want to defend the run. He wants to get after the pass. He wants to get up the field. Let's not play into his hands. Make him play against the run.
I'm sure that they will lean on the run. That's our strength. You're not lying. What you said that Jalen McMillan has 13 receptions this year. Rashad White has 40 or 39. So that's just comparison. Bucky's got 35. Trey Palmer's got 10. Hey, Trey, you're getting an NFL paycheck, buddy. So Raheem Jarrett was 7. That's not enough from those guys. Brian Miller 7.
I mean, to Raheem Jarrett's defense, he doesn't get on the field very often.
No.
And when he does, he makes plays. He catches the ball aggressively. He runs with anger. Like, I want that guy. Like, that guy reminds me the most of how Chris Godwin plays football. Whereas Trey Palmer and Sterling Shepard and those guys are just I don't know, man. I feel I get all, I get anxiety when those guys catch the ball. They're either going to fumble, they're going to drop it, they're going to bobble it up in the air, they're going to do something stupid and jaw at the sideline after the game, after the play and get a 15-yard penalty. All of that. Like, Sterling Shepard being the veteran of the room behind Mike Evans, and he's probably the most immature wide receiver in the whole fucking roster. That's crazy to me.
And by the way, for some additional perspective, Chris Godwin still has 50 receptions. Okay. He's still second on the team behind Cade Otton, who has 54. He hasn't played in 5 weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And Cade Otton being on that list too is funny because he doesn't really have great hands. So that tells you even more. But he's more. I mean, he's
he
more
had
by
a bad
design.
Game last week. I wouldn't say he has bad hands.
He has a drop in every game.
Consistently dropping passes.
He has a drop in every game, in my opinion. But I think some of his though is more by design. The ball is designed to get to Cade. 1, 2, 3, boom. 1, 2, 3, boom. Get it to Cade. Cade move the chains. I'd like to see that happen with some other guys. I feel like if you can design that to happen for Cade Otton, you can design it for Rashad. You can design it for Bucky. You can design it for guys that are more dynamic after the catch is what I'm kind of getting at. Because then you have an ability to take guys that are shifty and guys that are good in space, create some explosives. You don't need Trey Palmer and Sterling Shepard to score these long explosive plays. If you can get the ball in Bucky's hands, you can get the ball in Rashad's hands, you got a better chance, in my opinion. Those other guys just don't do it after the catch anymore. And that's if they even catch the ball.
Well, they don't do it after the catch anymore because we're not throwing the ball to them. And,
they don't get open.
I guess not, or our pass protection isn't as good as people think it is. And we can't protect long enough. And Baker doesn't feel comfortable standing back there in the pocket and waiting guys open. So maybe we see a change this week. By the way, Westside Sports, who is intern Izzy, didn't know that until just now, has donated $4.99. Said Baker hasn't had a game with 300 yards passing in the past few weeks. Like to see him get right this week. Yeah, same. I would feel more comfortable if we got that part of this offense back in the rhythm. But it's not. Yeah, you don't necessarily have to if we're able to pound the ball against the Raiders and do what we've been doing, which is it's still been enough to put up points. Surprisingly, we've been in every game, and and without all these pieces and without leaning on the pass game. It's a big change from where it was, pre-Godwin injury.
I think if we build the lead in this one, though, I wouldn't be surprised if we just leaned on that running game, got out of the game, kind of shortened it, kind of kept a lot of what we have close to the vest. The one team that we face coming up that I think really has a dynamic defense is going to be the Chargers. And if you can kind of hold back some of what you have, build a lead with the Raiders game, and just get out. I think that'll kind of go into some of the game planning in the middle of the game. But I obviously don't want to see this game go down to the wire. We shouldn't even be fucking around with this team in the fourth quarter. Like, don't play with your food if you're the Bucs here. Just go in there, eat that fucking steak, clean the fucking plate, toss it in the sink, and walk the fuck off. Like, don't play with your food in this game because all sorts of shit could go wrong. Bad bounces, unlucky, never know how kickers want to do things for you at the last minute. Just don't leave it up to chance, man. And this is a team where you don't have to do that.
Speaking of kickers, I appreciate you cutting that punter. It's not often where you get your hands dirty. People don't know behind the scenes, like ultimately when enough is enough, you're able to get shit done. So nobody wanted to see that guy ever again. And I'm glad he's gone. And it doesn't matter who this new punter is. I don't want to know his name. I don't care for him. I don't even want to know what he looks like. Matter of fact, I'm going to purposely hide my face every single time the ball gets snapped to him this week because I don't want to see him. I don't care.
Shouldn't he hide his face? Why are you hiding your face from him if you don't want to know his face?
Make that happen, okay? Make him wear one of those big puffy helmets. But it needs to wear it low. I don't want to.
I'm gonna have him wear a Guardian cap backwards,
like the burqa of Guardian caps. That's what I want to see.
Have him wear a Guardian cap backwards, so the back would just be on the front. I mean, listen. At this point, if he were to punt blindfolded, it would be better than whatever the fuck what's his name was doing, right? Gill. Also, anybody with that last name Gill, like, how is that a football player on a roster?
Yeah. No, that's an R&B singer, right? Or Johnny Gill, right? That's the only Gill I really care about. But that punter,
I had an accountant. I had an accountant with the last name Gill.
Was it Johnny Gill?
It's a pretty good account. Pretty honest, pretty good account. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. Listen, if he's punting,
first of all, why aren't we getting a barefoot kicker? Where are those guys at, and why are they shunning my people? That's what I want to know. This is a barefoot team, and we need our kickers to also follow suit. Because kicking with a shoe on is a disadvantage.
So a lot of those guys are coming from Australia. So it's funny you mentioned that because earlier in the week I plucked one of the interns at One Buc and I put him on a one-way ticket to Australia and I said, "You're not coming back. You find me a fucking punter, an Australian barefoot."
Did you call him a cunt? You say, "Go get me one of those."
Yeah, go get me one of those football kicking cunts. Of course. I mean, why wouldn't I? Football punting cunt.
Bro, I need a football kicking cunt t-shirt.
Yeah, we've been doing it wrong the whole time. We weren't about a punt god. We don't need punt god. We need punt cunt. That's what we need. That's what we've been looking for, right? That's what's been missing from this team on special teams. The punt cunt. Not the punt god. We need punt cunt. That's what's been missing. And that's ultimately what's going to fix the special teams unit, in my opinion.
Is there fixing it, or is that coach need to go? Whoever that guy is. I heard he was bad. I don't even know his name either.
He got fired last year, and we hired him right after he got fired. It didn't even really make sense.
We cover this team, and I don't care to know who that person is, but don't like him. We're just not good outside of, Chassé. But yeah, Chassé's
I hate that guy.
Weirdo.
Hate that guy.
He's a weirdo. I don't really like him either. So
I'm surprised you even know his name. I still call him McKicker.
McKicker. Shays, Chassé, whatever we want to call him. But yeah, punt cunt. You know what? If this guy shows out this week,
punt cunt,
that's going to be his.
But he's not from Australia. That's the thing. So this really.
Do we know where he's from? How do you know where he's from? Somebody right now in the chat. Right. I want his bio. Somebody chat GPT. I want to know where he went to high school. I want to know which leg.
We got Izzy skipping class watching us for the super chat.
Izzy,
right?
Which leg is he? Is he a lefty? Is he a righty? Does he have a lot of body hair? I want to know all these things. Let's find out about this guy. We normally ignore it, but let's dig deep.
Izzy, I want every fucking detail in this guy's life. All right? Give me the entire rundown. I want it on my desk by 8 o'clock tonight. That's how it's going to go. That's how it is, man. See, Stank, when you have an intern, you just give him shit. You tell him the fucking time is due, and it just gets done, man. Just gets done, or he's running laps or doing fucking push-ups. Anyway.
By the way, Tony, every time you comment in the chat, I just picture you shirtless. You just huddled over your keyboard, just like on top of it, typing. That's probably accurate.
Listen, we're talking about push-ups. All right. Talking about not barefoot. Talking about shirtless. Maxx Crosby's coming to town.
Okay? That guy loves to show off his body, right? He's not fun to look at, bro.
Nah, but he's productive as fuck, Stank.
He is. He's good.
On a shitty
I want to
team,
talk shit, but he's good.
On a shitty team, he is productive as fuck. And we have, obviously, Tristan Wirfs practice today. Should be playing. We also got Luke Gedeke. These two guys have held it down against the best of the best throughout the year. So I think they'll have their hands full against Maxx Crosby. I think he's a little bit different than most other guys. He's more like Hutchinson, who I don't think we really saw a fair assessment of our offensive line.
No, we saw enough of him.
Yeah,
no, we saw enough.
Well, I'm saying we didn't see what our actual offensive line could do to a guy like that. But he's like him, but his motor absolutely never stops. There's no slowing this guy down. He's going to give it to you no matter what. So the Bucs cannot take a snap off, or he's going to snap Baker in half. So that's something to watch, man, honestly. We haven't really had an edge guy break this team outside of that game where Skule was the guy going against Hutch. Maxx Crosby has the potential to pull it off, and he's going to be all over that line. He's going to find a spot at some point. Keep him at bay, though. Run the fucking ball. Run the ball at this guy. Make him make plays that way and make him have to guess what he has to do. Not give him the empty sets with the obvious passing downs. 3rd and 1, empty set. Oh, yeah, I'm going to just get up the field. Make him think a little bit. Make him slow down, and I think you have a chance to kind of keep him at bay. Of course, you got 2 fucking amazing tackles on your offensive line on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, Wirfs is a cheat code, and he's an eraser, and hopefully we just don't even hear Max's name the entire game. Chris Nava.
Maxx plays on the other side, though. Maxx plays on the other side.
Okay. Either way, both of our tackles are playing at a high level. Anyways, Chris Nava did the research on the punter. He said this is the entire bio for this guy. Kicker. That's it. There's nothing else. There's nothing else out there, and I guess that's all we need to know.
I like that, though. I like a guy who's focused. Like this guy's entire life has been kicking. He has nothing else that they can even put on his Wikipedia page. I like that guy. He's technically off the human grid. He's just kicking. That's it. It's like, what are you doing? I live, die, breathe, ball. That's it. Just ball. Ball kicker. I like it.
B-Shuck, what's up, man? Have you seen B-Shuck's rotisserie meats? You seen him? He's been posting lately.
No.
He's got this like rotisserie smoker, and he did a whole chicken on the other day. Impressed. One of my people right there who can throw down on some meats.
Impressed or impressed?
It was impressive.
It was impressive. It was impressive.
Yeah, it was impressive.
It was impressive. I like that. I guess we have nothing else to add about Maxx Crosby then. Just really good ball player.
No.
Guy loves ball.
Good ball player, but Gedeke or Tristan or whoever he decides to go up against, I think we'll have a game plan for the guy. Somehow Carolina got pressure with a bunch of trash cans. So facing a guy like that is probably the best pass rusher we face all season outside of Aiden, who almost got Skule kicked out of the league.
I think the thing with him,
Stank, it's a challenge.
Liam calls an offense as if he doesn't trust his offensive line. If you watch the games, real quick passes. I'm not saying he doesn't trust him. I just say it feels like he doesn't because he calls so many quick passes and so many like schemed open guys where it's like almost never a 5-step drop, never anything down the field, it seems like, since Chris Godwin's been gone. So that kind of helps us. I think that helps us in keeping a guy like Maxx Crosby just wasting his time down there because he's getting the ball out quick, but he's athletic as fuck, and he's going to eventually catch on to some of that stuff, and he's going to be the guy that jumps up, bats the ball down. Don't be surprised if I'm pretty sure he's picked off a wide receiver screen pass before in his time. So Bucs need to keep their eyes on how he's going to adjust to being blocked and getting the ball out quickly because he's going to adjust on his end. And he's going to make a play, man. And I just got to make sure he doesn't make the play that kills you and forces a turnover or gives his team a chance, in plus territory, because that's the only thing that's going to equalize this matchup, in my opinion.
I'm sorry, I didn't really listen. I didn't hear anything you just said. I'm just reading the chat and B-Shuck's talking about his smoker and his cooker. That's really as much as I care about the Raiders right now. I'm more so worried about what I'm going to eat for dinner tonight and what other people are cooking on their smokers.
I'm thinking about
we should handle this team. We shouldn't play with our food. We should just completely annihilate and destroy them. I think we need a little bit of a comeback type of performance. Obviously, we pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat last Sunday. It's time that we get back on the good side of things and prove that this team can compete and not have trouble with lesser opponents.
All right, great. Aiden O'Connell is their quarterback, Stank. I wrote he's no slouch.
We've lost to worse. We lost to worse guys.
He's actually not that bad. I think he's better than Bryce, who just had himself a fucking day, like I said earlier. But the difference here is he has an absolutely terrible offensive line. I mean, they are just fucking terrible. Now, going against the Bucs, not exactly the best pass rush in my opinion, but we got a guy in Kalijah Kancey who's been on fire recently, on an absolute heater. Going against JPJ, okay, the number one, everybody wanted him to be the center we drafted guy out of Oregon. Guy's a fucking crazy human being out there. He's pretty good center. Going against Vita Vea and Kalijah Kancey. And that's arguably their best offensive lineman on that team, and he's a rookie. So the other guys around him, they gotta have themselves a day. Yaya Diaby looking at you. Anthony Nelson looking at you. Chris Braswell looking at you. JTS, who practiced today, for the 5th year in a row, looking at you. It's time for these guys to step up and have themselves a day, because I think Jackson Powers, while he's not going to stop Vita Vea, he's not going to stop Kalijah Kancey, he's still going to be able to hold his own down there in certain reps, and the other guys got to step up, and then that's kind of the design of having those two guys. It's supposed to open up things for everybody else. So get after Aiden O'Connell, and he'll look pretty fucking average, in my opinion. And he's got such a fat face. You notice that? He's got a fat boy face. Like, he was a fat kid at some point in his life. And he's just so excited to be a quarterback now because he's no longer an offensive lineman and everybody's laughing at him.
Yeah, it's like he's got that Big Ben pudgy face. It doesn't matter how good your body's in shape. You always just look like a fat boy.
Yeah.
He's going to rely on his biggest weapon. We talked about Brock Bowers, but we need to get to this kid early and often. And yeah, they do have a rookie center. Vita Vea should make this guy's day a living hell. And Kancey, man, just Kancey's on the verge of like a 3-sack performance. We can all feel it coming. He is special, and he'll continue. I think
did it against Kansas City Chiefs, Stank, with 3 All-Pros in the middle. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think it's just a matter of time before this guy has a stupid game and puts up, multi-sack game, 3-4 sacks. He can be a game wrecker, and I feel like he's gaining that momentum back again and confidence back. Poor guy just has had bad luck going into each season, and then it's had to slowly get up to speed. But I feel like he's at that point. This should be the time in the season, especially against a young quarterback like this, where he just eats this guy's lunch all game long. So yeah, it's the Kancey show. That's all we got. And every once in a while, Vita Vea flashes and is a force, and as a pass rusher. But the outside guys, wouldn't count on them, and our blitzes haven't really been getting there either. So he's the only guy. We have to hang our hats on. Maybe we just get a get right performance on both sides. I actually kind of went back and watched a clip of that Lions game before the game last night, and that was easily our best performance on defense. I think we picked Jared Goff off twice. We had sticky coverage. We
had all our guys
aggressive. Yeah. We were aggressive, man, but we were flying around. That's what I want to see. I want to see just some raw aggression out there. These guys just whooping ass, and just taking this game for what it is, which should just be a fucking easy win.
I'd like to see Todd just kind of utilize these 6-man blitzes, honestly. Just send 6. Their offensive line is not good enough to do all that. They're not going to communicate well along the offensive line. And Vita Vea, his job isn't to get sacks. His job is to tie up bodies and create havoc and close up lanes. And then everyone else is supposed to eat around him because he takes up so much humanity. And for us to sit here and have to say he needs to flash and create sacks, it's like, that's crazy that we'd have to have that conversation. But if you kind of compare this game to the Giants game, Stank, they have a bad offensive line too. We got to the quarterback there. We were able to create pressure, not so much in the sack numbers, but we pressured him a lot. We got to him after with linebackers. We got to him with corners. We got to him with Ant. I think that's the recipe here. Just send more guys that they can stop. Don't let Aiden Connor sit back there. Aiden O'Connell. Don't let him sit back there and just pick it apart. Because at this point, any quarterback can pick apart this zone defense. There's no point in it, in my opinion, unless you send guys. And maybe play some sticky man coverage, man. If you get beat, you get beat. I just don't think they're going to beat you if you can get to him. They don't have a good offensive line. We make those guys look better than they are a lot of times because we don't attack them properly, in my opinion, and we don't have good edge rushers. But If this is like the Giants' offensive line, which this is supposed to be even worse than them, you should be able to use the same recipe, get to the quarterback, make him maybe throw a couple of turnovers. Don't play with your food, like I said earlier. This would be it's set up for it, man. This is not a good football team. They really shouldn't be trying to win games, if we're being honest. They should be in the Shedeur Sanders sweepstakes or whoever the fucking top quarterback's supposed to be. That's what they should be worried about. So they're not trying to beat us, believe it or not.
Well, sacks come when we win first down. We put these guys in known passing situations, and that's when your linemen can eat. So yeah, I just can't see them pounding the ball on us. And yes, they will get theirs in the passing game because everybody does. But if we're putting up points on the other side of the ball, Giants, we're getting stops and maybe some turnovers, getting to the quarterback, putting them in tough situations. This should be a pretty predictable performance. But we are the Bucs, man.
Yeah,
we are the Bucs.
Yeah, but I think the teams that we're supposed to beat outside of this Panthers game that we had the other day, and that was a division game, so it's a little bit different. The teams that we're supposed to really beat, we've beaten this year. We haven't really played with our food. Against the Giants, I feel like we took care of business pretty early. The Saints, we took care of business pretty early. Kind of had a weird second quarter with some weird unlucky things going on. We ended up with 51 points, nearly a 30-point game. So, again, this is that same kind of team. They're on that same tier as the Giants, probably worse. Just go out there, play sound football on the offensive side, put the pressure on those guys, and just get off the field if you're the defense, man. I feel like Brock is going to get his at some point. But remember, the Giants only had like 45 of yards of offense the whole first half in that game. Defense played well. They were short a lot of guys in that game too. So, obviously, they don't have Brock Bowers on that team. They do have Malik Neighbors, who eventually woke up when it was a little bit, too little too late type of scenario. All right, Stank.
Yeah, it's a very similar comparison. At least it feels like it is. So,
but you never know, obviously. But again, I think if I look at the Bucs this year, they have not played with their food when they shouldn't have. So I feel like that's comforting. I know you have BTSD, and that's just how you are. So, you're going to be that way. So with all that being said, I need your keys to victory, or maybe just one key to victory, and your score prediction.
Keys to victory. But really, I'm gonna kind of touch on some of the points we already made here. Baker, we need good Baker. I think that's the first key. This guy's got to come out early, get in rhythm, be in control, not make stupid mistakes, and really the offense itself needs to be in rhythm. These pre-snap penalties, lining up incorrectly. Just don't beat yourselves on offense. And I think we end up running the ball down their throats, and moving the ball and scoring at will on this team. I probably have one more key to victory here, and that's I hope Todd took maybe a little bit of courage. And I know people are gonna be like, "Oh fuck, I'm so tired of hearing about it." But from what you saw from Dan Campbell last night, right? You don't need to be that guy. You need to go for it 5 times. You don't need to go for it with the game on the line on 4th down. But please, dude, I feel like your career is on the line at some point. And to lose to a team like this would be, I pretty much career suicide. So get aggressive.
You don't think Todd Bowles has gone for it on 4th down more than he has in any other year past? I think
I'm just saying overall. I'm not talking about going for it. The 4th down has nothing to do with it.
Okay,
I'm just saying call an aggressive game. Throw the kitchen sink at this guy, even if he beats you once or twice over the top. Like, continue to just throw it at this guy. Don't be afraid of giving up points. Trust that your offense will make up for it at times. Like, you got to have faith, and that you've got guys out there that can do it. And especially with a team like this, because they're not on our level. This shouldn't be a competitive game unless we let them think that they are. And then, we get what we got last week.
Score?
It's going to be a rout, man. Bucs 31, Raiders 12. Hopefully we score more than 31, but I don't think it's going to be competitive whatsoever. I think we're probably in control by halftime. They'll get their little, comeback flashes from here to there, but 31-12, I know it's a rarity for me to be that confident about a win, but yeah, I feel like we got it this week.
Seems like it's not very confident though, right?
I mean, that's some pretty good. That's 31 points is our number. 12. That's
But I feel like you're thinking it. You're looking at it like it'll be 14-12 at halftime.
No, they'll probably get a cheat. It'll be 31-6. They'll get some bullshit,
touchdown to go for
2. Yeah, exactly. Some crazy shit at the end.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So my keys to the game, man, just win in the trenches, man.
Both sides. Way, hold on. Izzy's been giving us money. We haven't talked about anything. Like, he's just been throwing money in Super Chat. He said over under on sacks. This is his question to everybody.
No, why are you even listening to the intern?
He's donating money
because he's guilty. He feels guilty for skipping the show. That's what's happening.
Okay. Well, at least answer his question. Over under 5 sacks.
Over.
You think we get more than 5? Okay.
Yes.
And then his other donation was keys to victory. Take the ball away from the Raiders. Don't give it to them.
Wow. Mind blowing. Great.
35 Sammer. 35 7. I mean 35 Sammer.
35 what? Sammer. Nailed it.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Are you having a stroke right now?
Oh, dude. Maybe. What the fuck did I just say?
35 Sammer. 7.
Bro, I don't want to be here right now. I want to be with my iguanas. I don't want to be here at 3:51.
This is because of you. This is because
on a Friday. Listen, all right.
This is how we win this game. My keys to victory: win in the fucking trenches on both sides. Our defensive line should have some fun in this game. Okay, should have some fun in this game. And like you said, Todd Bowles, play like you have an offense that can score points. And in that case, you just attack, dude. Just attack them. I think sending 6-man pressure is going to be the way to go. And when it's obvious passing downs, put as many fucking secondary players out there as you possibly can and just blitz in any scenario. Just get after the quarterback, get him down, and I think we have and then on the other side, our offensive line should dominate this game, should have themselves a good running game. Again, lean on Rashad, lean on Bucky, use those guys the way you're supposed to, and let Mike Evans have himself a fucking day. Another 100+ receiving yards for Mike Evans. Book it, nail it, put it in any bulletin board you want to put it on. It's absolutely happening. Stick it to the fucking wall. It's going to happen. Baker Mayfield is the other key. Just play good football, Baker. Just play good football. Be confident. Don't do anything stupid. Hand the ball off, man, and just let's get out of here. My score prediction? 38-6. Honestly, I don't see them getting more than a couple of field goals. I still think Brock Bowers is going to have himself like 14 catches, 123, 140 yards, something like that. But it won't matter. We'll keep him out of the end zone. We'll have such a lead on him that it'll just kind of take a lot of their wind away, and then they'll just want to get out of there. We'll get out of there, keep it fucking moving, get ready for the next one. They shouldn't even come close to us. They're not on our level, even with all the offensive and defensive injuries we have. This team is still not on our level. And make Maxx Crosby see how great it is to play in Tampa Bay. Okay, that's another thing.
Oh, like a recruiting trip.
Like a recruiting trip, right? Let him see how beautiful it is in that stadium. Be loud. Show him that we have home fans. Show him how great the weather is in fucking December. Okay,
right?
I know he's in Vegas, but that Vegas heat is fucking miserable. Fuck that. He needs to understand how great it is here all the time. And he could still be, a pirate. The Raiders are kind of like the wannabe Buccaneers of the league. I don't know what the fuck the cap is he's got on his head and that thing. Let's use this as a recruiting trip for that man who's going to demand a trade in the offseason. It's going to happen. He said himself, I'm starting to lose my mind with all the losses. That doesn't sit well with a guy like him who wants to win. He's super ultra competitive. He's not going to be the guy that quits on his team, but loyalty only goes so far. Eventually you want to fucking win. You want to be remembered as winning.
Can you imagine,
I'm taking him to dinner before the game.
They're in the tunnel. Baker's, sniffing and smelling sauce. Max they're like, they're next to each other. Like, can you imagine the energy, those two bouncing off each other? Yeah.
They'd be bashing each other's skulls with no helmets.
Yeah. Bro, that's one of the best things you've said this year. I would love that. Jason, absolutely. Make it happen. Sure, it'll cost a lot, but for a guy like that, it's probably worth it because you're not going to draft Maxx Crosby. I think he's still fairly young, right?
He will give you more effort than any of the draft picks that you give up to get that guy. He will give you more effort in one game than any of those guys will in their entire fucking careers. Okay?
I'm going to walk down there to the Raiders sideline during the game.
I'm going to shake his hand.
Yeah, and I think that you and I should start working the magic behind the scenes because I feel like this is doable.
Start working the phones?
This is doable. Bringing Maxx here is doable.
I mean, I cut
my grandson's name. I like the name, so bring him here.
I cut the punter on Monday. Okay. I mean, what's a recruitment dinner for a defensive lineman for another
meat?
Little meats, yeah.
Definitely meat.
Little, one of those like Brazilian steakhouses with that whole deal. Anyways, make sure you guys hit the like button and the subscribe button if you are new. Leave us a comment with your score prediction, your keys to the victory, and why you don't like Stank's face, who, by the way, dressed to look like me today. So flattery. I mean,
Bro, I was out there working. Eric Cecil said Stank seems sad today. I am. I'm a little sad today. It's been a rough day.
You're more pale.
Listen, I've been nursing my iguana back to health. It hasn't been. I've been a little stressed out. All right. I'm sorry, Cecil. Normally I'm smoking a cigar and I'm all feeling good. All right. But I'm human. Unlike Sammer, I'm human. When you cut me, I bleed. When you cut Sammer, nobody knows because he's never been cut before. So
never been cut.
Yeah.
Hey, enjoy the game, boys, and we'll see you guys on Victory Monday following the Bucs and Raiders and girls. Guys, I say guys is a general type of thing. Iguana is the whole thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe. See you. Go Bucs.
Later.
It's kickoff, set it off. Go to Vegas, bet it all. Put it on the Bucs win, whoever they gon' play gon' fall. Don't say I ain't told y'all. Loose cannons gon' fold y'all. Yeah, the Heat be 9-3, but it gets real cold in the fall. That's when the season start. Bucs come in 40 hard. Win after win, ripping the division apart. Panthers, they pussycats. Falcons got bird flu. Take the Ravens and Dolphins and open up a zoo. Cause one thing